Well, hey guys, this is Clay,
And Jackie.
and we are Thrift Avenue. This was started by Jackie, my wife, and we just wanted to film a brief intro video to why we started a YouTube channel and kind of give you a brief history and a little bit about us. So, Jackie, tell us a bit about the history of Thrift Avenue and how it started, because you get all the credit.
It started because I didn't want to do a rummage sale, or yard sale, garage sale, whatever you call it in your area, your neck of the woods. But yeah, so basically, so in 2020, I did a rummage sale. Granted, it was tail end of, not even, it was middle of COVID.
Yeah.
But it was when like things had just kind of opened back up. I was trying to just declutter. Obviously, sold some items, but didn't go like incredibly well. So then, and I was pregnant at the time. So following year, May of 2021, still wanted to declutter, still wanted to get rid of a crap load of those items because they were still just sitting boxed up in our garage at the time. But at that point I had a 6-month-old. I'm like, I do not want to do a rummage sale. I don't have the time, I don't have the energy, like it's the last thing I want to do. We had started to hear about people selling like vintage graphic tees and stuff like that on sites like Mercari, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to look into it. When I looked into Mercari, Poshmark popped up. So my first two platforms were Mercari and Poshmark. I was strictly on those two. And I just started listing stuff from my closet, from his closet, like just anything in the house that I was trying to get rid of. Like we're talking, I was selling partially used hand lotions back in the day. Like This is where we started.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started doing that, realized things were, I mean, it was fairly slow at first. Obviously, I was expecting like a rummage sale. You're expecting that instant sale, but stuff really started off slow. But as it started to pick up and I started to realize like there was actually money in it, I started to decide to look into potentially starting doing reselling. At that point, with our first daughter being 6 months old, I was starting to kind of, I don't want to say get bored, because you can't really be bored with a kid, but just wanting something to do more than just taking care of a kid. And when you only have one and they're napping, and you're kind of like, okay, what do you do during the napping time when everything else is done? So I was already just looking for something to do. Poshmark has, their wholesale section on Poshmark, where it's buyers who are sellers who are like wholesale sellers, where you can buy items from them at cheap and then turn around and resell it as a boutique on your own Poshmark, which I thought that was the way to go. Spoiler alert, it is not the way to go.
Not for us anyways.
Yes.
3 years later, we still have stuff from that.
Yeah. So anyway, started talking to him about it. He was like, no, you're not, like, that's dumb. I don't see how that's going to work. Granted, back in that point of mine, I was like, but we can make $1 on it. And he's like, ooh, you made $1. Like, that was our mindset back then. So ended up convincing him to let me buy a couple wholesale lots, which was mainly like jewelry, wallets, purses. Like he said, we still have the majority of those.
There's a learning curve.
Yeah. So it started with that. Then I got into, look at all this stuff I can get on clearance at Marshall's and Nordstrom Rack. So I was ordering that in and trying to like flip that and sell that. Still sitting on a lot of those lots as well.
Which it can be good, but we just know you got to be picky.
Yeah. But just started realizing, okay, this is clearly not where people are making their money. So I think my first ever thrifting trip, wasn't even until 2022. I don't think I did any thrifting in 2021. So I don't think it was until like the new year of 2022 when I actually went for my first thrifting sourcing trip. And let me tell you, I had zero idea what I was supposed to be paying on stuff. I just saw brands that I was seeing selling, and I said, yes, we are picking this up. When I tell you we were paying like $7 for Levi's, and we were paying prices that we should not have been paying.
Yeah.
I will say most of my shoes came from that time frame that we are still sitting out, which is why I said shoes do not sell well for us. But yeah, so started slowly getting into actually going out thrifting. At that point in time, we were actually running a different small business as well. So he was focused on that. I was doing the reselling.
Yeah.
So in 2022, really focused on that. I expanded in 2022. 2022 is when I expanded into Depop, which I feel like I haven't been on Depop that long, but I have been.
And the end of 2022 is eBay too.
No, so eBay came a little bit sooner, but I hated eBay. This is before I had any cross-listing services. So I was literally posting stuff on my own to all of the different platforms, which is why I was only on 2, because it was too, like, I was like, this is a nightmare. I hated eBay because eBay kept glitching out on me when I was in the middle of drafting, and then I would lose half my draft. So that's why I never posted on eBay, because it was just too time consuming. And I'm telling you, when eBay asks so many things, like they want to know the specific name of the worker's wife who made your piece of clothing. Like, I swear, they want a lot of information, and it was not information that I was willing to go through and give. It was just too time consuming. So I had a few items on eBay, but for the most part was not on eBay.
So you've been doing reselling as a full part-time gig for
since May of 2021.
So
and then
so about 3 years now.
Yeah.
This is July of 2024.
Yes. Yep. So we just hit my 3-year mark in May.
So I decided when we had our second child, who is now Esme is now 6 months old, that I would start helping Jackie with all my free time build up this. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I still have a full-time day job, but I help her do this, and now we've together become what is now the Thrift Avenue brand, where we expanded into live sales on Poshmark. What do you think?
Well, I was getting there.
Oh, 4 months ago?
Yeah. So,
sorry.
Where I was going. So in 2022 is when I expanded into Depop. Expanded into Depop, into Etsy, listing a lot of our vintage stuff on Etsy. So 2022 was a little bit more of a turning moment for us, because in 2022 is when I, was it 2022 or was it 2023? Actually, that was 2023. Okay, so 2022, yeah, we started expanding into different ones. I attempted live shows in 2022 when they were beta testing. I just couldn't get into it back then, so I ended up stepping back from that. 2023 is when he started to get more serious with helping me out. So the end of 2022 is when we made the decision to form an LLC and become a business. So before I was selling under, I think my name was, I don't remember what it was. I think it was like Jackie Lynn. I think my usual username that I go for. On Poshmark, at the end of 2022, he decided he wanted to start helping out a little bit. I took him thrifting, and he got thrift high and realized how much fun it was.
First time out thrifting, I found a pair of Coach shoes. They look like bowling shoes. And that's, to a guy that grew up not around fashion. I grew up on Levi's and flannel shirts, like the Barbara Mandrell song, and didn't really know anything about it at all. But I hear Coach, so I see them. They're $5 at the thrift store, and I say, I throw them.
Crazy, because now they'd be like 20.
Yeah, I throw them in the cart and go, hey, let's try these. And I think we sold them 3 weeks later for
like $50.
Yeah, and I'm like, whoa, you can make good money doing this. And then I was hooked after that.
Yeah, and then I had then I couldn't get him to let me go thrifting.
Right.
Well, yeah, so that's when we made the decision. So we filed for our LLC in December of 2022. Became official, I think it was like January 13th or something like that of 2023, so we officially became Thrift Avenue LLC as a dual proprietorship, whatever the terms are.
Yep. She owns 51%. I wanted her to have majority control, because she started this whole thing. Guys, I thought every part of this was a bad idea and wouldn't work, and she's been right about all of it. So yeah,
so that's also right around the time that I started our Instagram page. So if you scroll back, like there's a few posts from before we became Thrift Avenue, but you'll actually see the announcement post where we became Thrift Avenue. So that's when we became a little bit more serious into actually thrifting and sourcing and reselling. We started to get smarter. I mean, there are still some purchases from back then where I'm like, yeah, we didn't realize we couldn't pay this much for this brand just yet. We're still paying $8 for Lucky Brand jeans, and I'm realizing they're not selling for as much as we were thinking. But yeah, so then 2023 is when I was thinking it might have been 2022. There's no way we went that long without Bendu.
Right.
So 2022, sorry, that's an important part. So that's when we became, one of these days, I don't even remember what year it was, but we ventured into Bendu cross-listing services, which if you're not already on there, we'll have a link in the description so you can sign up, because it is the best cross listing service. It is made
Not a sponsor.
not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor
No
yet.
no paid promotions.
You hear that, Vendu? First YouTube video, hit me up.
But that is the reason why I now don't care about why listing to eBay is not that much of a task anymore. It's super easy now for me to do that, to cross list. So that's why we're on eBay, Etsy, Depop, Mercari, Poshmark, Vestiaire Collective. Though I don't understand that platform, so there's not much on there right now because.
Curtsy?
Curtsy is a Poshmark integration. They're not on Vendu, but Vendu highly recommends if you're on Poshmark, you might as well be on Curtsy. So we're on Curtsy, we're on Kidizen, which I'm probably going to be closing that out actually because we don't have very many kids clothes.
Kids clothes do not do well for us.
And Grail. Like we're literally on. I think the only ones we're not on is Shopify, and Facebook Marketplace. Those are the only two integrations. Whatnot. That's the other integration we use. So those are the only two integrations we don't personally use through Vendu. So that really streamlined our business, and that's when we're like, okay, we can do this full force because with that kind of tool, and I mean, there's other tools we use as well, but that one was where we're like, okay, we can take this seriously now because our time to list has been pretty much cut in half, if not more. We can more quickly do this. So in 2023, we began to get more serious. Found out I was pregnant in May of 2023.
Yep.
Decided to move in May of 2023. Literally, we decided to move.
A lot's happened in the last 12 months.
Yeah. Decided to move, and within 2 weeks found out I was pregnant. So that was quite the fun summer. So then we moved where we're currently at in that October. Started getting back into live selling. Well, started thinking about getting back into live selling in November, December of 2023.
Yep.
And then in January was like, okay, we're gonna take the leap. I think I did 2 shows.
Yeah.
And then little Miss Esme decided to come early, a whole month early. She was due in February, and I had her January 12th. And I had to have an emergency semi-emergency. She was breached when we had a scheduled C-section. But because she came early, it was technically emergent. But she came C-section, which means I was off my feet for. I broke the rules in 2 weeks and went thrifting, but that was a mistake. So I was not able to do live shows because how long live shows go, I could not stand on my feet for that long, and
I had no interest in doing them at that time.
Yeah. So then probably March-ish is when we got back into it finally.
Yep, and that's when I decided that I would not only just help Jackie in the background, but I wanted to do just as many live shows as her during the week. So now we do at least 4 during the week. Yeah,
so now I would say we are about 75-25. I would say 75% live shows right now, 25% listing. We have a ton of stuff we've got to get listed. Our death pile is a death mountain. I'm not proud of it.
You guys would either be impressed or appalled if you saw that.
I am not 100% proud of it, but part of it was with my pregnancy. I had a really rough pregnancy. I was nauseous all the time. So he kept going out and still was sourcing, but I was not doing anything with what he was sourcing.
We used to have a good system. I'd go get it, bring it back, and she'd process it. And six months
there was
none
no
of that.
processing. There was just good for you.
Yeah.
Go put it in the pile.
Right.
Though it's good to always have somewhat of a death pile on hand just in case you go out sourcing and you can't find anything good.
Yeah.
So you can always have stuff to list. But it is. And then we got donations from our church rummage sale.
Yes.
That we still have not processed fully.
But I mean, that started. That kind of opened us up to the vintage market,
yes,
which
there's
now
a lot of vintage new tags.
Which now is spurred a vintage live show that I do 50s to Y2K on Thursdays. As of this recording, I do them on Thursdays between 6 p.m. and 7 p.m. Eastern time, and a lot of that came from a very nice donation from our church.
Yeah. So, and there's the estate sale you bought out too. That pretty much.
Yeah,
we sold a pair of Crocs, and that paid for pretty much the entire lot we got.
Yeah, that's so part of why I wanted to do a YouTube channel is we're trying to grow this our personal community as well as be more involved in the reselling community as a whole. And the last year or so, I've really gotten into content that other reselling YouTubers have put out there that have not only given us ideas in our business, but are entertaining. And that's what I want to do, kind of take you guys along for the journey. We just filmed a thrift haul video. We went out thrifting together today for the first time in a long time. But I want to show you guys our wins, and I want to show you guys our losses, things that I would definitely recommend, things that I wouldn't do again, things that are entertaining to us, that we hope they're entertaining to you. So, you know, you're going to see rants from Jackie and I up here. And if you don't like it, don't watch it. If you like it, you can watch it. You'll see, hey, this is what we found today, or hey, I bought out this lot and I wouldn't do it this way again. But we've tried just about every way to source possible, from thrifting stuff to buying. We just a couple days ago filmed unboxings for mystery boxes for Madewell and one for Banana Republic. Those are going to be going up shortly. I've done estate auctions that, like Jackie just said, I think I paid $16 for about 400 pieces of vintage clothes. 100 of it got thrown out because it was mildewy in an attic, but the rest of it has all been viable and has generated quite a bit of sales. I've bought out stuff from an antique shop that wanted to get rid of the clothes. I would not do that one again. But
not
just
necessarily
the lessons I've learned
the
along
antique
the way.
shop, just the specific one.
Yeah. So to kind of share that with you guys. But yeah, that's kind of been where that's the journey that we've been on, and we realized that it would be fun to share it with you guys to take the extra time.
Yeah, and obviously everything that we say is what works well for us. You know, I know there's always those disclaimers, what might work well for us may not work well for you. Things that help us, tips and tricks. We're sharing what works and what doesn't work for us personally, to help, that hopefully it will help you.
Yes.
That doesn't necessarily mean like it's absolutely a no-go. Like there are times where other resellers will share tips and tricks, and I'm just like, well, I do, like, they'll just like, oh, don't do this because it doesn't work, and I'm like, well, I do that and it does work.
Yeah.
And it's just, this is what does work for us. It's just like people's bread and butter brands. They are different across the board. It is so crazy. You'll have people say like, oh, I can't sell Levi's to make even a buck, and Levi's are one of our bread and butter brands.
Levi's is probably 50% of our income.
Like I've heard people say, oh, Liverpool is one of my bread and butter brands, and then we'll buy Liverpool and we'll sit on it for a while. So it's like, it's definitely, trial and error. It definitely also depends on the season. It depends on the styles, the trends.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely.
Right now, vintage is doing so well because that retro vintage is on trend right now. And that's what everybody's looking for, especially because vintage is just higher quality clothes all around. So
absolutely. So to just kind of close out the video about us, so Jackie and I, we have been together for over 12 years. We started dating our junior year of high school, believe it or not, and both of us are going to turn 30 this next year.
January. Oh, I technically turned 30 this year.
Yes.
So I have a December birthday. So.
But we got married in 2018. We now have 2 kids. Charlotte, our 3-year-old, and who is full of energy and loves being outdoors, and just she's crazy in a good way. And then Esme, our 6-month-old, who she just started solid foods this week, so we're really excited about that.
She's not.
Yeah, she does not like solid foods.
We've tried bananas and carrots so far. Not a fan. Yeah. Complete with the shiver and acting like she's eating something sour.
Yeah.
Which is so interesting because Charlotte loved when we switched her to solids.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'll be fun to.
But other than that, Jackie and I, we love spending time outdoors, doing things together, and going for walks, and just doing whatever we can to just kind of get away from time to time. So we might post some content on that. But we just wanted to film an intro video to tell you guys kind of what our ideas are, and kind of where our heart is, and how we want to be more a part of this community and build the community as well. And we've got some great ideas for content. I've gotten the green light to do a trade-up video that I'm going to start filming for pretty soon. Like I said, we've got several unboxings that we've filmed. I want to take you guys along when I go thrifting for my on Mondays when I don't have a lot of time. And anything else that comes along the way. So Jackie, anything you want to say before we close it out? So in our outro videos, as of right now, I'm gonna put our current live show schedule on Poshmark. and then also give shout out in the outro to some of our friends in the reselling community by putting up their posh closets and if they have YouTube channels. But yeah, anyways, thank you for your time, guys. Like and subscribe if you want to see more content from us, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. So bye, guys.